Welcome, spiritual travelers, to another Mystic Owl Pick a Card reading. I am Mystic Owl, aka Nathan. Today's theme is what's blocking you from moving forward in life, and what are you currently healing? So it's the things that you are dealing with from your past, or some issues that are coming to surface that have stopped you on your path, things that you are currently sorting out. So we have 4 piles today. Pile number 1, pile 2, pile 3, and pile 4. Pile 1 is the pink love heart. Pile 2 is the little smiley sticker, smiley dude. Pile 3 is the owl. Pile 4 is a flower. Looks a little bit like a sunflower, I think. I bought these for a pick a card reading that I did a couple of days ago, which was about how lucky are you. You might want to check it out. On that, please use your intuition. Look over the piles. Remember, this is a general reading, so take only that which resonates with you and leave the rest behind. And let's move on to pile number 1 with the pink heart. Pile 1, your tarot cards. Let's find out what's blocking you. You have the Emperor. Fatherly figure, authority, discipline. Ooh, you have the Ace of Swords, nice. And your final tarot card is the Fool reversed. Interesting. What's interesting there, pile 1? The Fool being reversed, I sense a little bit of fear on your journey, potentially, that you're afraid to take the next step. With the Ace of Swords in the upright position, I do sense that you've gained some clarity recently. You've had an epiphany, or you've had a deeper understanding about something. Potentially things in your past that weren't so clear have started to make more sense now. And I think you understand what the next step is, what you need to do. But I just think you're a little bit afraid to take those steps, or to be a bit more disciplined in your life. Potentially there's some issues from your past that you haven't dealt with properly now, that you understand that also. With the Emperor, I am sensing that potentially there's been some authority figures in your life that have maybe intimidated you in the past, or haven't always treated you the best. Potentially there's an issue with your father that needs to be resolved. I'm not sure what your upbringing has been like, but I do sense that, maybe your upbringing wasn't always the most wholesome, or there were some issues at home potentially that caused you a bit of anxiety or heartbreak. And you understand now why you struggle in certain situations. Maybe you react very strongly in certain situations. You can lose your temper quite quickly, I sense. And you need to do some more inner work, or just to resolve some issues from your past. But I do sense that it's not so easy, and you've really struggled to take that next step. Either that, or I do sense you need to be a little bit more disciplined and grounded in your approach to life. Maybe sort out or release some negative traits or habits that aren't serving you anymore. But doing that isn't so easy. I guess when you're attached to things in life, like, I don't know, for me, sometimes I like to have a drink. And I know I need to cut that out a little bit, but it's almost something that when you've been doing it for a long time, it becomes part of who you are in a way. So it feels like you're really like having to release something that is really part of you, and it's not always so easy to let go and move on. So what I am picking up on is either there's some issues in your past with your family, or some authority figures that have caused you a bit of fear and anxiety, and now you have a bit more understanding about why you react in certain situations. And the next step is to actually maybe get some counseling for that, or just to release it, to acknowledge it, to forgive that figure, so that you can sort of move on and release that negativity from your own energy. Or there's some deeper issues and attachments that you need to release, and you do understand that you need to do that and be a little bit more disciplined in your approach to life, but it's just not that easy. That's what I'm picking up on. All right, on that, pile one, let's get some further insight about what's blocking you from the Earth Wisdom Oracle cards. On the plus side, though, for you, pile one, I love that you've got the Ace of Swords there, number one, and the Fool with New Beginnings. I do sense that you actually understand what you need to do. Like you've taken the time to do some inner work and some shadow work to really understand why you react in certain situations, or what triggers you a little bit. So you've done the hard work in terms of acknowledging those things that are not so good for you. But the next step is actually just sort of addressing them a little bit, either getting some counseling or actively trying to release that energy by probably just forgiving those people in the past, even if you don't want to. Can we get a card to clarify these, please? With the Ace of Swords and the Fool, the Ace of Swords being your thoughts, some clarity, understanding, but the Fool in the reverse, the Fool in the reverse position indicates to me that you're just a little afraid to take that next step. There is a little bit of fear holding you back here. Okay. Ooh, prosperity. Number 32, prosperity. Let's get one more card too. And you've also got responsibility. What I do see here too for you, pile one, you've got the Moon here in the prosperity card, you've got the Moon in the Ace of Swords card, and the Moon behind the Emperor rising in the Emperor card. So that's 3 moons, indicating there's something from your subconscious, some deeper emotions that you need to process, or something that you need to understand. And I do sense that you actually are coming into that understanding with the Ace of Swords here. And I really think it's about taking that next step, acknowledging, you've already acknowledged those things that have been holding you back in the past, but the next step is to be really quite disciplined and being quite strict and following certain actions that you need to follow. Being a bit more responsible and determined in overcoming these challenges that you have. I sense actually a group that feels the need to please people, that is always seeking like assurance from other people, with the father figure and the Emperor and the father figure there. I sense that you have a need to please a little bit, and when you don't get validation or certainty from other people, sometimes it might be hard for you to make that next decision, or to feel really safe and secure in your own sense of purpose and your own will to go out and do what you need to do. But I do sense that you do have that in you with the Emperor card here, who is a very strong, independent, disciplined leader, that you can take responsibility of these things and overcome these challenges, pile one. And with the card of prosperity, number 32, I think that your future is going to be quite bright. That once you actually address these issues, really work hard to overcome these challenges, like whether it be financial issues or some addictions and habits that need to be released, working on relationships that aren't serving you, or resolving issues in relationships, that things will start to fall in place for you in life. So once you start addressing some issues in one aspect of your life, I found that for me, those positive steps sort of cascade into different areas of your life, and things just start to all fall into place. It's like a domino effect, but in a really beautiful way. So I sense that once you actually start being a lot more determined and taking care of those things that have been causing you a bit of strife, that your future is looking a lot more bright, with the sun shining through the woods here. So you, in the responsibility card and the word prosperity here, I sense that your future is going to be quite amazing, full of joy, happiness, and abundance, like potentially a change in career or getting that promotion at work. Yeah, whatever it is, I think your future is looking really amazing once you start sort of addressing these minor issues that are holding you back now. On that pile one, let's get some further insight from the mystical healing reading cards. What else needs healing? What is healing currently? Find big cards a little bit tricky to shuffle. Bear with me. Oh, there you go. Interesting. It says contemplate death and beyond, number 6. Right. I am sensing for you, pile 1, that there could be a fear of death, potentially. A fear of death, yes, but also a fear of taking responsibility and making a big change in your life, like taking a chance on a risky project, or there's something that you really want to do, but you've been held back, you've been restricted by your own fear, in a sense, that it won't be successful, that you'll be making a mistake. I also sense a fear of being judged by other people, because you've got the Emperor card here with the Fool in reverse. I do sense that you have a fear of not pleasing people, or you worry too much about what other people think a little bit. You really want assurance and certainty from other people to make sure that you're making the right decision. And you can be in your own head a little bit too much by overthinking and worrying that you're not always doing the right thing. But the Fool in the upright position just really goes out and approaches life like a little child, just seeing every moment is really beautiful, and whatever happens, what will be, basically. But the card of contemplate death and beyond, I sense that maybe once you start to see life as a beautiful concept, and because it's so short, life is so short, we really have to go out there and do the best we can, as much as we can, day in, day out, I think, and go after our dreams. And I sense that maybe there's a fear of not achieving your dreams, but you'll never know unless you try. So when it says contemplate death and beyond, I think it's about understanding that this is a fleeting experience, and that we really should just give it our all, to not hold back because fear is holding us back, not to worry too much about what other people are thinking. But also know that we're just here in a temporary sort of physical experience. We're spiritual beings in a physical body, right? A physical avatar for a brief moment of time, and that when we die, we just move on to the next life, or return that energy back to source, in a sense. So we're not really gone forever. This experience is fleeting, yes, but we are taking these experiences back to the greater whole, and contributing to something more complete and bigger than us. So whilst we're here, we might as well just, take a risk and do the things that we want. I do sense that there is some pain from your past with an authority figure. The reason why you want approval from people all the time, or that you struggle to make a decision and commit to certain things, is because in your past maybe you felt like you didn't get that approval from a loved one that you needed, or they may have been even a little bit too hard on you in some circumstances. So you struggle to like believe in your own ability to make the right decision. But I do sense that you just need to sort of forgive yourself or that person too, and just take a chance anyway. I, for one, know what that feels like, because for me, starting this channel was really quite daunting and scary. I was afraid that people would not receive my messages very well, or that I wouldn't be a great communicator. I have fears about communicating, because when I was younger, I really struggled with some speech problems, and I it's been hard for me to overcome that, but I've got such beautiful feedback from a lot of people, that it's really like encouraged me to keep going. So I think once you find that you actually take a chance, take a risk on life and those things that you want to do, that you'll realize you'll actually be like praised for doing it, and people will see you in a new light, and it'll make it a lot more brighter and easier to do too. So yeah, I say just go for it. Finally, pile one. Let's get some further messages from the Rider-Waite Tarot deck about what you can do to overcome this fear. But once again, number 32, prosperity. Your future is looking quite amazing. I sense that yeah, once you allow yourself to take a chance or to risk a certain project, or telling that certain someone that you love them, or whatever it may be for you, and really deal with those minor issues that you've struggled with in the past, that your future's looking really amazing and bright. Oh my god. I don't know if you can see that, but okay. Wow. Oh, I've got the shivers. Wow. So your first card that came out was the Ace of Swords. You have the Ace of Swords twice, pile one, indicating, I've just got the shivers all over, indicating strong, like, mental clarity, epiphanies. Like, I always see the Ace of Swords as like just an inner knowing, clear cognizance in a sense. You need to trust yourself more, pile one. I think you already know what you need to do. You need, and how to work on these issues that have been blocking you in the past. You already know what it is that you need to do. You just need to believe it more. The clarity is there. The understanding is there. I do sense strong clear cognizance that you have an inner knowing about certain situations. And not only that, you also got the Ace of Cups. So you've got 3 aces that have come out. So this is going to bring in like emotional fulfillment and satisfaction. Once you take responsibility for these issues that you've had in the past, start addressing those things that that have been holding you back, that fear, or dealing with those issues from your childhood potentially, and being a lot more disciplined in actually your approach to life and overcoming these challenges, you have emotional fulfillment here too with the Ace of Cups and satisfaction. And your final card is the Page of Cups. Which is a new passion for life, really. For me, the Page of Cups indicates like the ability to communicate with external sources. So this boy here, or the man holding the cup, is chatting to a fish. I sense that you're actually coming into some spiritual awareness, potentially also, pile one. There is a fear of overcoming certain patterns or behaviours or thought patterns that have been holding you back. But once you do that and start paying a bit more attention to, I think, some strong spiritual connection here, clear cognizance definitely, that you will start to really understand that you're being guided and come into a really amazing and just start to find a greater purpose in life, and have a lot more belief in yourself. The Page of Cups really indicates emotion. You've got the Ace of Cups here and the Page of Cups indicating strong emotional satisfaction. And with the Emperor card too, I do sense that you'll really start working from the solar plexus chakra and looking after your own life, having a lot more self-belief and discipline in the way you approach life. Yeah, wow. So yeah, just one more. Just to reiterate, pile one, I'm really struggling to communicate now. You have the Ace of Swords twice. When that comes up, when a card comes out twice in the same reading, it's a strong message, I sense. And for you, I sense it's just an inner knowing. There's an indication here of some psychic awareness, I sense, and you need to trust in that more too. You also have the card of Contemplate Death and Beyond. Source energy, that you are tapping into source energy, basically. And the moons too, 3 moons, which also indicates psychic ability. So yeah, just keep working on those things that you've been a bit afraid of. Take a chance on life and pay a bit more attention to the signs and synchronicities that are coming to you, because they are true and they are powerful. That's all I have for you, pile one. I hope it resonated with you. If it did, please like and subscribe if you haven't done so. And let's move on to pile two. Hello, group number 2, with the little smiley face. Let's find out what's blocking you and what you're currently healing. By the way, if you can hear a bit of a tapping or a scratching noise, my dog is sitting on the other side of the camera. He didn't want to go to the room, so he's behaving at the moment, but you might hear some like tapping from his tail hitting something. But yeah, let's find out what's blocking you with your tarot cards. You have the 10 of Wands. Okay, you have the 3 of Swords. 3 arrows going through the heart. And you have a 7 of Swords. Lots of air energy to do with your thought processes. Ah. What do you see for you, pile 2? What's blocking you? I think you get in your own way a lot. With the woman in the 7 of Swords cards, she's looking at herself in the mirror. And she's quite pretty, I think. But I sense that you feel the need to always be perfect, to always look the best, to always be the best you can. You have very high standards for yourself and for other people, I sense. And it's because you want to do well and really present yourself as, being the best version of yourself. But I think sometimes you can't meet your own expectations, and I guess you put yourself on a pedestal to some degree and can never sort of reach that level. I do sense that it causes you quite a bit of anxiety and heartache sometimes, that you get easily disappointed when things don't work out the way that you had hoped for. If you can't... That's my dog yawning. If you can't reach those goals or achieve the things that you want, that sometimes you get a bit down on yourself, and I sense go into a bit of a spiral of feeling quite upset and a little bit depressed too, I sense. That you can feel really like brokenhearted when things don't always work out. But like the 10 of Wands, she's had to like take some time out because the burdens that you're placing on yourself are just too heavy to bear sometimes. And so she's taken a break to get some rest. And I think sometimes you just need to take some time out and to accept and understand that, you're not perfect. Nobody is. So we're all here to live, learn, and love. And to do that to yourself too, to try and understand that even though it's great to always wanted to achieve certain things and be the best at everything we do, or to always have the best outcome at anything that we do, that's not always going to be the case. There's always going to be challenges and trials and tribulations in life. You can't please everyone in a way, and nobody's perfect. So I sense it's just about learning not to be so hard on yourself, and to understand that, yeah, things aren't always going to be the way you hope. And that's a lesson that I've had to learn in life too, because I also have a way sometimes of being quite down on myself when I react badly to situations, or feel like I didn't do as well as I could in some sort of situation. I get really upset with myself, and it just doesn't do you any good. Like, it's wasted energy, really. Yeah, we're here to learn new things, right? So when something doesn't work out, just let it go and try it a different way, basically. But let's get some further information about what's blocking you and what you're currently healing from the Earth Wisdom Oracle deck. I do also sense that potentially you're coming into a place of, oh, nice, of starting to understand yourself a little bit better. You've done a little bit of self-reflection, like the Seven of Swords there. And I do sense that potentially you're starting to understand that maybe things in your past haven't always gone the way that you wanted, or that you haven't always reacted well, that you've potentially hurt other people by the way that you've reacted or things that you've said. And it's made you feel quite upset with yourself, I'm sensing. But all you need to do is just forgive yourself for that. And then if you feel the need to, maybe ask for forgiveness from those other people that you feel that you may have upset, because it's your own perception too. This may not necessarily be the case. You may not have upset them to start with, but yeah, just learn from those things that you may have said or done and try not to do them again. Oh, okay. They just flew out of the deck for you. So the two cards we have here are number 11 and Inspiration. And you also have number 28 and Blessed Sight. Like pile one, I have a feeling that you may have some spiritual gifts or something to some degree. Pile two, with number 11 and Inspiration, 11 being the angel number and angel guidance, and Blessed Sight. Also with the card of number 10, the 10 of Wands, Wands being the spirit, your spirit energy and spiritual guidance, and 10 being the end of that, or sort of reaching the apex of that sort of those lessons. I sense that you are a group that may have some clairvoyant gifts potentially, or the ability to see into the future, or just have a deeper understanding of what may happen based on what's happened in the past, to be able to sort of to gauge what is likely to happen in the future based on a certain predicament or experience or situation. You've also got the wolf there in the Inspiration card. The wolf spirit is, the wolves are highly intuitive creatures and really tune into their environment in order to like be able to hunt their prey. They know when to react and how to hide, where their prey is likely to be. So I do sense that you have some very spiritually inclined gifts, like clairvoyance is really standing out. But in terms of what's blocking you, I sense that you have an inner knowing, basically, of what you need to do. That now that you have the understanding that potentially you can always be a little bit too hard on yourself, and expect too much from yourself, you can just be a bit more mindful of how you may react when you're triggered, or when you're working on something, not to get too excited, not to see too far into the future, and to be mindful that things may not always work out and that you will react quite badly if you allow yourself to do that. I think with the card of inspiration and blessed sight, it's really about sort of knowing how you've reacted in the past and seeing how you may react in the future. Now that you know that you have some issues with being a little bit too hard on yourself and other people sometimes, I'm really interested in the card of blessed sight. So I'm going to read the guidebook on that one and get an idea about what that's about. Blessed sight. Lavender soothes the soul, mind, and emotions. When calm, it is easy to see good in the world, the blessings in any situation, and understand the lessons to be learned. Difficult situations are a part of life. There you go. While they are not pleasant at the time, they play important roles in our lives, or they can if you have the right mindset. The divine and your inner divine self can see the big picture, allowing you to glean important lessons about life and about yourself. There you go. Engaging your divine sight allows the blessings of calm understanding, which can help bring things back into balance. And it says here, I am calm and strong, alert and flexible. Challenges help me grow, and I'm grateful for the lessons. Okay, so as I was indicating before, I sense that you can be a little bit too hard on yourself and expect the best all the time, and no one can live up to those expectations. You've set the bar too high for yourself and others, and sometimes get really disappointed in yourself, and sometimes I suspect other people when you don't achieve those lofty heights that you expect. But now that you know that, you can understand that when you come across challenges in the future, that it's only there to grow you, to try and take a step back, to drop the wands off your back, take a pause and understand or question yourself why you're going through this situation. Because it's for your greater good. You're learning and developing, you're growing. These lessons are teaching you something, and if you take a pause and try and question yourself why you're going through a certain situation, you can actually get an understanding of what you're getting out of this. And because I sense you have strong sort of clairvoyant or highly attuned intuition anyway, especially with the women in here, there's lots of feminine energy in this reading, with the woman in 11, the woman in blessed sight, and the two women here in the Seven of Swords card. Lots of feminine energy. I do sense a group that is quite in tune with your own inner knowing, strong intuition, strong clairvoyance, that you can start to understand what you're actually gaining, what you're learning from this experience, and then be able to apply that to the rest of your life. And it's going to help you be a lot more inspired in your future. So the word inspiration is like spirit is within you, right? Like you're going to be working from a place of knowing that you're doing the right things and being on your path. If you take stock of what you're feeling when you start to feel those emotions rising, where you get a little bit angry or disappointed in yourself, understand why you're feeling that, and know that learning the lessons now will make your future a lot brighter. So what's blocking you, basically, pile 2, is your own lofty expectations. And what you are learning, you're healing the sense of not being too hard on yourself and not expecting too much from yourself, but you're also gaining wisdom and insight into what lessons you will be learning from certain experiences, which I think is really cool. Let's get some further insight and wisdom for you, pile 2, from the Mystical Healing reading cards. Oops, let's start that again. I do sense that you've done a bit of work and that you understand this already. So you've got the Ten of Wands indicating that you're end of a bad cycle of being a bit hard on yourself, and I think you got to the point where you're just so down and disappointed and maybe a little bit depressed all the time that you've started to release that energy and just go, effort, I can't put this much pressure on myself anymore. I can't do this to myself anymore. And you've also got 2 and 8 making 10 in the blessed sight, indicating an end of a cycle and the beginning of a new cycle. So the card that came up for you, examine your integrity. Okay. Well, that's interesting. So that card indicates to me that I'm getting 2 messages from that card. The first one is, it's number 11 also. That's the card of number 11 also. So 1111, you're being really divinely guided here. And it's got an angel right there on the bottom too. I sense another spiritually attuned group. Potentially you get downloads from your spirit guides, but I sense that you are protected. With 1111 and the angel, I sense that you have some angels around you that are really looking after you. So yeah, just know that you are protected and don't be too hard on yourself, basically. You'll get through these things, these challenges. I got a little sidetracked there. Firstly, I sense that examine your integrity in the sense that if you potentially can be, you can make, that potentially you lie to yourself about certain things. You're not always honest with yourself about what you've been through or why something happened or what you've done, that you may feel that you're always operating from a place of always being on the of pureness and righteousness, but I sense sometimes that you can like lie to yourself and you're not always true. You don't always allow yourself to and it's because you expect so much from yourself. Sometimes you may struggle to admit that you may not have been right in certain situations. So you need to sort of check your integrity and work out really if you're operating always from the most pure place and the things that you're doing are for the greater good, basically. Or if it's because you just expect so much from yourself and there's a different agenda there potentially. But secondly, also, you've got here the 7 of Wands with the woman looking in the mirror. And the 7 of Wands in the standard tarot deck, the Rider-Waite tarot deck, is the man stealing the swords. And similar to the fact that maybe you're not always true and honest to yourself about your intentions in certain situations, I think that in the past you may not have always treated people the way you think you should have, or you may not have always operated from that place of pure intentions and always being like honest and fair with people. So there's a need for you to like reflect upon your past and admit and accept that you weren't always right sometimes. And that can be really hard to do. Having to accept that you've made mistakes sometimes, especially when you expect so much from yourself, is a very hard thing to do. But I think that you're getting to the point where you're close to that because you've got the 10 of Wands here and the 2 and 8 and 10 making 2 and 8 making 10 in the blessed card, that you've started to do some personal reflection and introspection and starting to realize that you haven't always been the most genuine or working from that place of pureness with your intentions sometimes. And that's okay. Maybe all you need to do then is to apologize to those people that you've hurt in the past and move on. Yeah, trust in the guidance from your spirit guides because you're a very spiritually connected group also. I see strong intuition and clairvoyance in this group and protection from your guides too. So just know that you can overcome this heartache. Don't always be so hard on yourself and seek forgiveness if you feel that you need to do that. That's all I have for you, Pile 2. I hope that resonated with you. If it did, please like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And let's move on to Pile 3. Hello, Pile 3, with the owl. Some strong insight and perception skills, potentially. Let's find out what's blocking you and what you're currently healing by starting with your tarot cards. Your first card is the 6 of Swords in reverse. Your next card is the Five of Wands. And your final tarot card, it's a World card, nice. From the moon looking down at the earth, or the world. Okay, for you, pile 3, I sense that you have you're having difficulty changing your mindset. That in the past you may have had a tendency to be a bit negative and hard on yourself. I sense a group that maybe beats themselves up, or thinks that they aren't good enough sometimes, or are unworthy, or have some issues with self-confidence, I suspect. But I do sense that you're aware of it now, actually. And the reason why I'm saying that, so you've got the Six of Swords in reverse. The Six of Swords upright indicates that you're sort of moving to a clearer waters, basically, going from the rockiness into clearer waters where things are going to be a lot more smooth, and your thought processes, things will start to be in flow, and your thought processes will be a lot more smooth, in terms of you actually being kinder to yourself and actually having more clarity about where you're going in life. In reverse, I do sense that you're aware of this now, but you're still struggling to get there and to continue to be positive. To change your mindset from being negative to positive takes effort. It's not something that you can just do overnight, right? Like, you need to really be very mindful of those thoughts that you're having, and switching them when they come up. So when you say something nasty to yourself, like, oh, I'm not good enough for that, or no, I can't achieve that, I could never do that, you need to stop those thoughts and then not necessarily replace them with positive thoughts, although I think that's always a good thing to do. Instead of saying, I can't do that, go, yeah, actually I can do that. Why do I think that I can't? I can do that. Of course I can. I just need to apply myself. But it's about catching yourself in the moment when you're starting to think those thoughts and being aware of them and just going, no, not going to say that to myself anymore. And that's the start of really being able to overcome that negative thought process that has been holding you back and being able to, like, go after your dreams, or just starting to feel a lot more happy with yourself, because your thoughts dictate the way you feel. I think if you give too much energy to your thoughts, you start to feel really low, and it puts you into a lower vibration, or feeling depressed and unhappy in life. But when you cut off those negative thoughts and then even replace them with positive thoughts, you can start to come out of that and feel a lot more brighter and happy. And the reason why I'm saying that is that you've got the Five of Wands here, and the Five of Wands generally indicates internal battles, or having battles with other people generally. But I see this now as you starting to realize the trap that you're in, and trying to overcome the process of being so hard on yourself, stopping yourself in the process and changing those thoughts to positive ones. But you still keep going back, I think, to the negative thoughts, which is just part of the process. Unfortunately, you've just got to keep at it. But you're on your way, because you've got the World card here, finally at the end. You've got the World card, endings, like completion, triumph to some degree. So just keep at it. Like, what's blocking you it's not really a block in the sense that you actually are actively working on it, I sense already, pile 3. But it's still blocking you in the sense that you haven't got all the way yet. So it's just something that you need to keep working on. But that's really cool. Good on you for doing it. On that, pile 3, let's move on to the Earth Wisdom Oracle deck and get some further messages for you about what else is blocking and what you're currently healing. I've also just noticed that you've got the moon in each one of these cards too. So you've got them, like the crescent moon in the Six of Swords, you've got the full moon in the Five of Wands, and you're standing on the moon in the World card. Which is an indication that there's some some things from your past or things that are surfacing from the subconscious that you're currently dealing with. So if you are feeling a bit overwhelmed or just upset about something that happened in your past, just know that you're working through it at the moment, and that you're probably releasing that from your subconscious so that you can actually be a bit more clear on where you're going in life and what you want. You won't be having that burden on you anymore, and you'll be releasing it and going full circle back to being in that place of triumph and victory and happiness, basically. Well, they don't want to jump out for you. They just threw themselves out in the other readings. There's one. Oh, lovely. Nice. Okay, oh. I'm going to take all of those, actually. Oh, okay, cool. You have number 17, clarity. The next card that I thought was beautiful was divine connection. And your final card is grace. Okay, there you go. Number 14, grace. So grace is the card of grace is the card of being too hard on yourself, basically expecting too much, and being just accepting that the way that you've been thinking in the past has not always been so kind to yourself, that you need to be more conscious of your thought processes, and actually being thankful for what you have too. Grace is a card that indicates that if you change your mindset from a place of lacking and what you perceived that you can't do or you don't have, and change it to a mindset of actually accepting that the things around you are really quite beautiful and that you have everything you need, and being grateful for those things, that you can really change your mind and be a lot more positive. And I sense that when you do that, you'll come into a place of clarity and having a stronger connection with the world around you and with the divine. So you got the card of clarity here, which is 1 and 7 and 8, and also the card of 8, divine connection. So a place of a stronger connection with your spirits, spirit guides, just seeing the world for the beautiful place that it is, and just being a lot more happy with who you are and a lot more confident in your own ability to make the right decisions. Being a lot more clear-headed about what you want to do in life. And with 2 8s, 8 and 8, which is the number of luck. So I sense that once you continue to work on changing your mindset about what you can't do or what you don't have into the place of actually what you do have and what you should be grateful for, then you'll feel a lot better about yourself. Pile 3. Lovely. Cool, let's get a message about what can help you to heal also from the mystical healing deck. Divine connection too, that's a card clearly about having a strong connection with the divine, about seeing the magic in the world around you, being very aware in the moment, noticing like the nuances in reality, basically, of like butterflies flying past you, or the vibrancy of strong colors in plants and flowers, things like that. Okay. Your mystical healing card. Oh, wow. This came out. Oh, no, it's different. But it is the number 8. Develop stronger concentration. That makes sense. You have the card of develop stronger concentration and the number 8. So you have 888, which is a very lucky number. You might want to check that out as an oracle, check out the meaning for the number 888, the angel number 888. I sense it's all about luck, changing your mindset into a place of what you have and being grateful for it, and then the energy flows towards you. Your future will be a lot brighter and luckier because you'll be living from a place of gratitude as a place of lacking. develop stronger concentration. So this is really calling you to focus on the positives too, to catch yourself when you're starting to overthink too. I sense a very cerebral group here with the Six of Swords and develop stronger concentration, and also the card of clarity, a very cerebral group that tends to overthink a lot, and that can also spiral into depression because you're always double guessing and questioning your own choices. But it's about like catching yourself when you tell yourself that something that isn't true, or starting to meditate more too, and dialing into that connection with spirit too, which I think you really have an ability to do with the divine connection here and a strong concentration, as well as the 3 moons too. Yeah, cool. Finally, for you, pile 3, let's find out what your future will be like when you continue to change your mindset in certain things. $888 though, that's really cool. That's pretty amazing. Definitely have a look at the meaning of angel number 888. Okay. There you are. Those are 3 cards. Your future. Oh, wow. Oh. 9 of Cups. Wish fulfillment. Lovely. You have the 9 of Pentacles. Success and self-reliance. Success and living in a place of satisfaction with your own achievements. And your final card is the Queen of Cups too. So emotional satisfaction. When you continue to work on yourself and develop this concentration with spirit and stop being so hard on yourself and change that mindset, things are just going to flow for you. Your future's looking very bright. You've got 888 and 2 9s too, a very spiritual number. Coming into a place of being emotionally satisfied, like the Queen of Cups too, but also being quite abundant and being self-reliant too. For me, the 9 of Pentacles is not only having lots of money and material things that you want, all of the assets in reality that you need and want, but also just feeling really like loving and independent, having a lot of faith in your own abilities. So all you need to do, pile 3, is just keep working at your block. Like, you know already that you have a bit of a negative mindset sometimes. You just got to keep working at changing that. So good work. That's all I have for you, pile 3. I hope it resonated with you. If it did, please like and subscribe if you haven't done so. And let's move on to pile 4. Hello, pile 4. With the flower, the sunflower, maybe. Which is always a nice, positive, happy omen, I think. Let's find out what's blocking you and what you're currently healing by looking at your tarot cards. Your first card, oh, is the King of Swords. Nice. You have the 2 of Swords in reverse. Interesting. Oh, you have the Moon card. What I'm instantly drawn to for you, pile 4, is the duality or the dichotomy of the King of Swords and the 2 of Swords in reverse. So the King of Swords is the archetype of like mental clarity and having a greater understanding, of always being self-assured and following his or her own judgments and having faith in those decisions. Whereas the 2 of Swords in reverse really indicates indecision, not knowing which way to go, having more than one decision or one option, and just not being able to make a decision, basically, and probably through fear of not making the right decision too. And with the moon card here, the moon being about your deeper subconscious, but also about things being a little bit unclear. So the moon, yeah, rules like the deeper subconscious, but sort of masks clarity in a sense. Things aren't so clear with the moon card sometimes. And I sense what's going on is that for once in your life, you're in a place where you feel a bit unsure about where you're going or what the next step is or where you want to go in life. Because you've always been that real confident person that was able to make decisions and be really self-assured in those decisions and feel like you knew what you were doing. But now, for some reason, you feel a bit unsure. You're feeling a bit self-confident about the decisions that you need to make. Self-confident. Self-conscious. You're feeling a bit self-conscious about a certain decision or your ability to make decisions, and you've lost a bit of confidence in your ability to make the right decisions in life, basically. And I sense it's because maybe there's something that happened in the past where you've had to make a big decision, and for once maybe you've made the wrong decision, and that's really rocked your boat a little bit. So you've lost a lot of confidence in that clarity that you always thought you had, and that sort of ability to forge your way on your own journey in life. I am sensing also that there's a reason why things aren't so clear at the moment. Like the universe is holding back some certain information, or maybe you don't have all of the information that you need to make a really wise decision or a strong decision at the moment. And it doesn't feel good for you because you're so used to having confidence in yourself and knowing what to do. So this is a really challenging time of uncertainty, basically. On that pile 4, let's get some further messages about what's blocking you and what you're currently healing from the Earth Wisdom Oracle deck. I think you really just need to tap into that energy of being the King of Swords, who's a really confident and self-assured individual that has a lot of faith in his own abilities and doesn't overthink things too much. I sense that you're in a place now where you're just starting to really overthink a lot of things, and it's causing a lot of mental anxiety, which is similar to pile 3 in a way. But pile 3 had a tendency to maybe not always be so honest with himself. I think for you, it's more about you've lost confidence recently because something didn't go the way you had planned, or you feel like you've got a really big decision to make, and the repercussions of not making the right decision seems really horrific, or there's dire consequences for that. So there's a little bit of fear involved in this group, in sense of not being self-assured for once. But you've got here the card of nurture, number 29 in nurture. And the card of clarity, number 17 in clarity. That's amazing. Indicating that clarity is coming for you, that whatever is blocking you at the moment, this fear of making this decision, or this feeling of uncertainty, that clarity is coming, that the moon will eventually set behind the horizon again, and the sun will rise. There will be clarity coming for you very soon. With the card of 29 in nurture, I really sense it's just about looking after yourself through this hard time. I sense that it's probably been there's been a bit of time where you've started to feel a bit restless or unsure in life, and that you just need to take some time out and treat yourself, not put so much pressure on yourself to make a decision at the moment, because that clarity is coming. And when you know, you'll know. I also am sensing there's a need for you just to distract yourself from your thoughts too. Not so much. You need to sort of stop overthinking at the situation, but I really sense there's a need for you to distract yourself with some form of entertainment, by doing those things that just bring you joy, that take you out of your own head, like playing sports that you love, going to watch a movie, maybe take a holiday or a vacation somewhere once we're out of isolation anyway. Because I think you're putting a little bit too much pressure on yourself to make a decision, or to understand what is blocking you or why you're feeling this way. And when you're constantly overanalyzing a situation, you can't see things from the higher perspective and allow all of that information to come in. When you remove yourself from this place, stop thinking about this situation, all of a sudden you get that clarity, that epiphany. You're like, oh, okay, of course, now I understand what I need to do. Like, it just comes to you naturally. So there's a calling here for you also to to stop thinking about it, but also to distract you from those thoughts. I do sense that you could get a lot of benefits from spending time in nature too. With the card of Nurture 29, number 17 in Clarity. And also number 2, the Two of Swords in reverse, the man standing in the ocean. I sense that you could get a lot of clarity from just tapping back into nature and grounding yourself a little bit, like going to the beach or just being in the woods and absorbing some of that natural energy. On that, pile 4, let's get some further messages about how you can heal the situation with the mystical healing oracle cards. Ooh. Okay. So the card of access clear thinking just flew out of the deck. I was almost going to put it back, but then I saw what it said and I'm like, wow, that is so spot on and like perfect for this reading. Once again, so you've got the card of clarity here, and now the card of access clear thinking. You are getting into that place of clarity where you'll have a greater understanding, being able to see things from a higher perspective. It's also number 1 too. 1 being the number of self and self-assurance, understanding yourself. I do sense that you're coming into greater insight about who you are as a person and why you're here, what your purpose in life is. Potentially you felt a bit lost too in the past, about just wondering whether you've been on the right path. There may be a need to change directions and start something new, but I sense that feeling of uncertainty or fear of maybe not going down the right path, because the Two of Swords can be about a certain direction too, taking a certain direction. Which way do you go in life? Will come to you very soon. So you've got the card of clarity and access clear thinking, which is exactly the same thing. So just rest assured that the answers are coming, that you if you remove yourself from thinking about it so much, all of a sudden you'll have that epiphany and understanding of why you've been through this confusion, and these feelings of anxiety and uncertainty, and just know that your future is looking a lot brighter because of it. I have the feeling I need to get another card for you, because that just flew out of the deck. I think that was really just a confirmation, basically, from the universe of what I was saying. But yeah, let's see if there's another message for you from the mystical healing deck. But I love it when that stuff happens in tarot, when you're saying something and you've picked up on a certain energy and it just is confirmed in the next card. It's amazing. There it is. Well, there's 2, but I'm going to take the top one. Explore your ancestry. Okay. So I was just talking about the need for you to maybe take pause to remove yourself from this overthinking and confusion. And there's an indication here that you're coming into a higher calling or a higher knowledge. You felt a bit confused at the moment because things are changing in your reality, I sense. Things may not have worked out the way you thought they would. I'm really sensing the energy of like the tower moment in the tarot, where your world is starting to crumble down around you and you're not sure what is going on because you've always been so self-assured in the past. But I sense that you're being called towards your North Node, that you're finding your life purpose here, Pile 4, which is really lovely. Like, so all of this confusion and feelings of anxiety, this overwhelming feeling that you're going through at the moment and not sure what to do next, will eventually culminate into some really clear thinking and clarity, which will lead you towards your North Node and your higher calling in life, or a deeper understanding of why you've been through certain experiences in life and how you can use those experiences to move forward. But yeah, it does say here explore your ancestry, so there might be some ancestral knowledge that you're tapping into, something in the deep subconscious, like the moon indicating and representing the subconscious. You're tapping into that deep subconscious. Things are coming to light, some information that has been hidden, and you'll soon have clarity as to where you're supposed to go in your journey in life, which is a really amazing concept, I think, for you, Powerful. Let's get some further messages from the universe about how you can enhance this gift and tap into this information a little sooner, or what you need to do. Yeah, a really, really strong cerebral group. Incredible concentration abilities, I sense. With the King of Swords here, the access clear thinking, and the card of clarity, I do sense that you have like really strong cognitive abilities, a very intelligent and analytical group. Potentially like telepathic abilities also. The ability to sort of pick up on other people's thoughts or understand what they're feeling and thinking. I also am sensing that you're starting to understand that you have some spiritual abilities too. So with the cards of explore your ancestry, you've got the card of nurture. And both the King of Swords and Access Clear Thinking, they're really indicating to me that you have some spiritual gifts that are coming out, like, and you're starting to awaken a little bit into those gifts and realize how strong they are and what you could do with them too. I sense some telepathic abilities, also some claircognizance too, like Pile 1, strong claircognizant ability with the card of clarity and access clear thinking, just having a deeper inner knowing about certain situations, knowing the answer to problems, knowing what's going to happen next, knowing something about someone that you hadn't imagined before or could not possibly have known previously. Oh, wow. So the first card that I just drew though is the Queen of Swords in reverse, which is a really strong confirmation of being a very cerebral, intelligent, analytical group. I think this is kind of a little bit of a warning to not be too hard on yourself, or to not be too cold towards yourself and other people during this time. Don't get too down on yourself or too angry because you don't understand what's going on, because you are coming into that clarity very soon. But the Queen of Swords in the upright position is like a really strong, powerful leader who makes all of the right decisions based on her own cognitive abilities, and you'll be coming back into that place of being really confident that you know the right thing, you know what the right thing to do at the right moment is. And just another confirmation of a strong, like, telepathic and claircognizant ability with the Queen of Swords also. So you've got the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords. Your next card is the Knight of Cups in reverse. And your final tarot card is the Two of Wands in reverse. Yeah. So the Knight of Cups in reverse. The Knight of Cups upright is kind of on a mission to find love, basically. But I think that you need to just really take time right now with also the Two of Wands in reverse. You're really trying too hard at the moment to get that clarity or to force that clarity, to have that understanding right now. I sense that you're probably doing a lot of research into whatever's going on right now, or just talking to yourself a lot, overthinking a lot. There's a really strong indication that you need to just relax, let go, take some time out, go on holiday, reconnect with nature, and allow this energy to really come to you in its own time, and it will, in divine timing, when you stop trying to force it, like remove yourself from the energy a little bit so that clarity can come in. The Two of Wands in reverse indicates that, yeah, you don't quite have that clear vision just yet. You don't quite know where you're going or what's going to come out of this confusion. When you overcome this confusion that you're in at the moment, I sense that you're a little bit afraid of not knowing the future, basically, or not knowing where your path is going, and that's causing you a lot of anxiety and pain. But you will, in time, know where you're going because you have a very strong claircognizant and ability and connection with spirit, and you'll tap into that inner knowing again very soon. The cards are really indicating a very strong ability to just know what to do at the right time. And I sense that also you've probably been going through this a little bit, not only because it's leading you towards your higher path or higher calling in life, but it's also a lesson for you right now, in the sense that if you've always been so self-assured and so confident about your own abilities and where you're going and what you're doing, having that taken away from you really allows you to appreciate that gift that you wanted back so much. You learn to actually appreciate what you have in life, and that you have a very strong ability to know what's right for you at the right time. And now that it's not here at the moment, you don't have that clarity. I sense that it's causing you a lot of anxiety, but if you look at it from a different perspective, it's because when it comes back, you're going to be so much more grateful for having that guidance and that inner self-assurance, which is really lovely, I think, for you, powerful. Yeah, just have faith in your ability to overcome this, and just know that you'll get through it and you'll be much stronger for it. That's all I have for you. I hope it resonated with you, powerful. If it did, please like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, bye.